Bombshell news out of Buckingham Palace today. King Charles just sent the loudest message he could to Donald Trump and all Americans that the Epstein accusations are real, that evidence exists, and that anyone involved with Epstein needs to be punished. And Charles put his money where his mouth is by exercising the royal nuclear option. Prince Andrew, the brother of Charles, has been credibly accused by the late Virginia Giuffre of disgusting behavior. Andrew did what every rich and powerful man does in that situation. He hired powerful lawyers and tried to have the case thrown out of court. As People magazine reports, as soon as a judge rejected the motion to dismiss, Queen Elizabeth stripped Andrew of his military titles and patronages. And that was in January 2022. And Prince Andrew settled that case. Giuffre, whose father worked at Mar-a-Lago, posthumously published her memoir and detailed the way in which, as a 17-year-old girl, she became entrapped in the Epstein world.
A very young age from Mar-a-Lago and entrapped in a world that I didn't understand, and I've been fighting that very world to this day, and I won't stop fighting. I will never be silenced until these people are brought to justice.
Having worked with her and written this book together with her, what do you think people still don't understand about her story?
Well, I think people are clamoring for the Epstein files right now, obviously, because they're tired of a system that Virginia writes about really eloquently in this book, which allows rich men to abuse generally poorer children and not pay any price for it. So just sort of that's the headline of in part what this book is about. And she had worked her whole adult life, almost entirely her adult life, to draw attention to that and to say that's wrong, and that she was the first person to come out publicly and name her own name as a victim. Other people had come forward, but privately, and that they are just as brave. But Virginia put her name on it, and at great cost to herself. There were death threats. Her house was broken into. Her children were taken. People took pictures of her children, threatened them. There was clearly a price to be paid, and she knew that, and she kept going.
It's worth noting that Giuffre's account, along with all the other Epstein victims' accusations, is carrying no political weight in the U.S. In fact, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and President Trump have both allowed the United States government to shut down for 29 days rather than release the Epstein files to Congress. They are going to let 42 million people go hungry rather than let that evidence come to light. Well, King Charles has had enough. Today, he officially stripped Prince Andrew of all his royal titles. And as the New York Times is reporting, commensurate with being removed from royalty, Andrew is being evicted from his sprawling residence, Royal Lodge, and made to move to a private residence. So how big is this action by Charles? Well, the last time a British royal was formally stripped of a title was in 1917, when Prince Ernest Augustus lost his British titles after swearing allegiance to Germany during World War I. So yeah, it's a big deal. This is the nuclear option for King Charles, and he's exercising it against his own brother, and made clear why, releasing this statement. Their Majesties wish to make clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Now, is that a statement meant to insulate the royal family from Andrew's criminal behavior? Yes, absolutely. But it is also directed past Great Britain and towards its former colony. Charles's actions, not to mention the prior ruling by the courts, makes clear that evidence exists to support the claims of victims, evidence that Republicans and Donald Trump refuse to let come to light. Furthermore, Charles makes clear who he stands with, the victims, over his own brother. How ridiculous does that make Mike Johnson and the rest of the House Republicans for standing against victims and essentially calling them liars? How repulsive does it make Pam Bondi for ordering the evidence to be sanitized against Trump? And lastly, King Charles makes clear what is supposed to be done to people who stand accused and have evidence that backs up those accusations. They are not to be waited on for long, drawn-out trials. They are to be stripped of power, not put in jail, not have their freedoms diminished. They are simply to be stripped of power. It is a very clear message to the people and politicians of the United States. It's doubtful Republicans will listen, and instead they will twist themselves into knots trying to persuade us that Epstein's best friend, an adjudicated rapist, is not guilty of the same thing. It would serve Trump right if Andrew hopped on a plane, held a press conference, and revealed everything about Trump. Well, I mean, it wouldn't work. Who would believe a sex offender? Oh, wait a minute. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. You'll not only help out our channel, you'll be taking concrete action and helping get rid of Trump and the MAGA movement who ushered him in.